It was night, really night. The empty streets of New York echoed only with the sound of my footsteps. Everyone else was asleep. It was the kind of hour when you feel the city's pulse slow down, when it's just you and the darkness. The city lights had always made me feel safe, like they protected me, but that night something was different. I had been working late and was heading home, taking my usual route. I wasn't in a rush, just tired and ready to get back to my place and rest. But then, I noticed him. A figure, far off in the distance, barely visible at first. I couldn't make him out clearly, but as I walked, he became more defined. And then, that moment. That strange moment. He was smiling at me. I could see his face now, and let me tell you, it wasn't a normal smile. It was wide, too wide, like something unnatural. It wasn't a human smile. It stretched unnaturally across his face, almost to his ears. His eyes, there was nothing in them. No life, no feeling. Just an empty, hollow space. I quickened my pace, trying not to acknowledge him. I thought maybe I was just imagining things. But then, I realized, he was moving too. He wasn't just standing there. He was following me. As soon as I sped up, he did the same. His steps matched mine, like he was in sync with my every move. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I started walking faster, trying to shake him off. But he kept up. That smile, the God, that smile. It never faded. The more I tried to ignore him, the more I felt like he was right behind me, just out of sight. It was as if he was toying with me. So, I started to run. But no matter how fast I went, I could still hear his footsteps. He was right there. Always just a few steps behind. Then, the temperature dropped. It wasn't just cold, it was freezing. The kind of cold that you feel deep in your bones. But it wasn't the weather. It was like the air around me had changed. It felt dense, suffocating. I couldn't hear anything but my own breathing and the sound of my feet pounding against the pavement. The city, the world, seemed to be swallowed by this eerie silence. I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped dead in my tracks, and I turned around. He was still there. His smile was even wider now, stretching impossibly far. He wasn't moving. He was just standing there, watching me. But then, he was gone. For a moment, everything was silent. I stood there, breathing heavily, not sure if I had imagined it all. But I couldn't shake the feeling that he had never really left. I turned around again and started walking faster, glancing over my shoulder every few steps. But I could feel it, his presence was still there, just out of sight. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if he was still following me or if it was just my mind playing tricks on me. I tried to convince myself that I was overreacting. But then, it happened again. That damn smile. It appeared right in front of me, as though it had always been there, just waiting for the right moment. The thing is, that smile never stopped. It was always there, watching me. It was too wide. It was too empty. And no matter how fast I moved, I couldn't escape it. I don't know what that thing was, or if it was even human. But I do know this, something about that smile, that feeling, is still with me. Every time I walk down a dark street, I keep my eyes forward. Because somewhere, in the back of my mind, I know he's still out there. Watching. Smiling. And I don't think he'll ever stop.